The last 3 sessions on the vlog have contained massive bad beats that have just crippled my stack. The most recent of which was this one at Copa. And after that guy went runner straight, I was pissed. I wasn't able to sleep that night, and that's when this session happened. It was 2 a.m., I couldn't sleep, and I never play past midnight, but I decided to today. We had to shuffle, and there's only one table going. It's a 1-3. There are some $3,000+ stacks. I didn't record the action because I don't record every session, but 2 of these hands happened within 1 hour, and I had to go over them. So let's do it. I got to shuffle at 2 a.m., and I had to wait half an hour to get into the only 1-2 table going, and then it broke after 20 minutes. We actually won about $100 bowling the table, and then we moved to the only 1-3 game going. There were 2 $3,000+ stacks of guys I didn't recognize, and we looked down at pocket kings in the big blind with about 400 in our stack. There's a button straddle, so we're second to act. And fellas, I'm sorry, I'm doing it again. I limp, planning on limp re-raising. It backfires as everyone calls. We're going 8 ways to a flop, out of position to most people with pocket kings. Not great. But how about a flop of ace king 3 with 2 spades? We flop the effective nuts. With 7 other people, when the small blind checks to me, I actually bet pot because we're not blocking top pair. We're not blocking flush draws for $40 and get 2 calls, including the button. The turn is the 6 of hearts. We still have the effective nuts. I continue now for $90 and only the button calls. The river is the 3 of diamonds. We boat up. I think most likely this guy has a flush draw, as I don't know if he's hanging on with a single ace. So I make the first gamble of the evening and check my full house. And he snap bets for $200. I literally at this point have like $250 in my stack, maybe a little more. So I obviously go all in and he snap folds. Really happy with the check. We basically doubled up with that one hand alone. And I didn't know that it was about to get even crazier. I then looked down at 9-8 of hearts. And by the way, I think I mentioned this earlier. This hand you're seeing is not the actual hand. I didn't record it. This is just a different 9-8 of hearts hand I played against actually the same dude from this hand, which is coincidence enough. There's a bunch of limps from a straddle, and I limp as well. The button straddler raises to $30. There's a couple of calls. I put in the call. So we're multi-way to a flop of ace king 10 with 2 hearts. It checks in flow to the button straddle, who c-bets for $100. There's a call in front of me, and I'm actually getting the right odds. So I put in the call as well. What do you guys think is the best turn card in the deck? How about the 7 of hearts? We make a flush and turn a open-ended straight flush draw? That is pretty good. It checks to me, and I think this is the kind of card where I really do not want to let any heart or any 2 pair that can make a boat catch up. So I bet out for $250. It gets to the button straddler, and he jams, covering me. It folds back to me, and I know it's like $300 to win a massive pot. But it took me a second because I just can't imagine he's jamming with anything worse than a better flush. That being said, I'm never folding here. So I put in the call. The river is, think of the worst card now. The ace of hearts. There's better flushes. There's boats. I tell him I have a flush, man, and he flips over queen jack offsuit. He shoved drawing dead. Holy shit. Yeah. After that hand, we played like 20 more minutes. We cashed out for about $1,500. In about 1 hour of play.
I'm on. Oh, no.
After that major win, the question is the downswing over? If we win this session, I think we can say it's starting to head in the right direction. What's a big one? I look down at queen 4 of hearts. Small blind raises to $10. The hijack under the gun, me call, I call from the button. To a flop of 7, 8, 6 with 2 hearts. Under the gun now bets out for $15, and the hijack raises to 30. I was thinking about raising myself with a combo draw, but after the hijack raises, I don't think we can, so I just put in the call, and so does under the gun. The turn is the jack of spades, and interestingly, everybody checks. I don't think when it gets to me, there's any point to trying to steal it here. I think they have something, but was not happy with getting 2 calls after the raise, so I just check as well. The river is the 8 of spades. Under the gun now jams for 41, and me and the hijack fold. I then win a small pot with pocket kings on an ace-high board, which is always a fun time. Then we look down at ace king from the big blind. The +1 raises to 10, the small blind calls, and I 3-bet to $45. and they both call to a flop of queen 5-6 with two clubs. Not great. So when it checks to me, I check as well. The turn is the ace of spades. We make top pair, top kicker. Now with, I think queen can call a bet. There's still draws. There's worse aces. I bet out for $55 and only the +1 calls. The river is the six of clubs. He's got like 80-ish in his stack, and I've been using this thought process lately that may be a little flawed, and you guys can let me know what you think. If he jams, am I folding from a pot perspective? I'm not really sure. And if he has a queen, he's not going to bet. So that's why I'm inclined to bet to get value from maybe an ace that just got turned. Queen. And if he has a flush, am I folding? Maybe. So I actually just jam all in. And he gives me that look of, dude, I have literally nothing. And shows king 10 of spades. So should have found the check there, gave him the rope to bluff as I was going to call anyway. So I think that's probably the right move there. Didn't win the max. We then hit top pair in a bomb pot with king deuce. End up chopping. And then we get 10-9 offsuit, turn a straight, and win a decent sized pot. And then that leads us into this next hand. I then look down at ace king offsuit from the big blind. It limps to the small blind and he pops it up to 15. As I don't anticipate anyone else calling my 3-bet, and we're going to be in position of the small blind, I raise a little smaller to $35, and only the small blind calls. To a flop of 4, king 4 with 2 diamonds. He checks to me, have the ace of diamonds, so I think this is a spot where we're just way ahead, and there's not really a bad turn card, so I actually check as well, because I've been heavy on the check line, so I want to do it when I have good hands sometimes as well. The turn is a card we don't care about, I think. It's the 8 of hearts, and he checks again. Well, now we have to get value from an 8. Smaller pocket pair, maybe a worse king that's scared of their kicker. I bet out for $25. He raises to 50. I'm like, huh? I did not see a check raise coming. I've been very heavy on the check fold line, so maybe he thinks that he can take it away from me and then I have nothing. That being said, this is a really aggressive player. I think he could be doing this with king queen, king jack. So re-raising does cross my mind, but I think it's a bit of an overplay, so I just put in a call. The river is actually pretty horrible. It's the queen of diamonds, and he bets out for $50. Now, we have the ace of diamonds, and there's a bunch of the big diamonds out here, and he raised. So I think that eliminates having a flush a decent percentage of the time. Real time, I actually thought he hit the river and had king-queen, 2 pair. We lose to flushes, we lose to king-queen, we lose to a 4. So I actually think you could find a fold, but this is an aggressive player. I put in the call, and what do you know? He has ace 4 of hearts. Is it just me, or is it just a cooler? What the hell? I hit my kicker, and then he hits his kicker twice? So we lose a little bit there. I actually do think that's a river card that could save us some money, but I end up putting in the call. I then take my talents down to South Beach and move like 5 feet south to another table that I think is a little bit better. I look down at Jack 7 in a bomb pot, and I'm thinking I'm not going to get super involved. But when the first 2 cards I see are 7, 7 followed by an 8, I think we're going to get involved. The other board comes 6, deuce, 8 with 2 diamonds. I'm in an early position, and I'm feeling kind of sneaky in the check raisey kind of mood, so I check. The cutoff bets out for $20, the button calls, and I follow through with my master plan of raising to $75. Was it a master plan or a plan of destruction? The cutoff jams for a little around $240 more. The button folds, and when it gets back to me, look, I know, we're putting a lot of money in here to chop, but I mean, there's just not that many hands that beat me. 7, 8, pocket 8s, there's 2 8s on the board. Queen 7, king 7, a7, just not a lot of hands. And I do not know this guy. This first hand I play with him. Spoiler alert, he's going to be everywhere in the vlog. But I don't know. I think it's one of those spots where my hand's just too strong. I put $75 in. And I'll see you at the river, buddy. I'm all in. The top board comes the ace of hearts and the 3 diamonds. The bottom board comes the deuce of hearts and the 6 of spades. Nothing has changed. And he shows a 4-8 offsuit for a pair on both boards. Wow. Yeah, we end up chopping. I didn't really like getting all in there and not having a winner. You guys know I like to go once. So let's try it again. The +2 opens to $15. There's a bunch of calls. I look down at ace-3 clubs from the small blind and put in the call myself. To a flop of 6, deuce, 5 with 2 clubs. Wow, that is a really good flop for ace-3 clubs. The +2 continues for $75. This is the same guy from the last hand. I was hoping he would go a bit smaller as I want to raise here and, have enough fold equity. And the button my friend Fu puts in the call. Now, we've got a massive draw here and an overcard. Outside of a straight, a set, and aces, we're really not scared of too much from an equity standpoint. I think there's really only 2 things to do here. Calling the 75 is kind of stupid with 240 in my stack here. It's either fold or jam. And I actually think folding isn't the worst idea because am I really coming to shuffle to get it in with a massive draw? Is that the goal? I don't know. That being said, you guys know what I'm doing here. There's only really one option that I'm going to do here. I want to jam here and maximize as much fold equity as I can. The +2 should not be thrilled about calling with kings or queens here. He shouldn't be. And the button, I'm not really sure what he has. Maybe 7-8, a pair, and a draw. I feel like he would raise himself, but that is alarming seeing him call. That being said, I think the only option here is I'm all in. So I jam. The +2 snap calls, and the button basically says, look, the +2, he points at him and goes, you have an overpair. And I'm thinking, I agree. I think he's got an overpair. And he looks at me and goes, you have a combo draw, buddy, and puts in the call. I ask him, he has 6-5. I tell them I have a combo draw. And the +2 says he has pocket 10, so we put him on basically one of his exact hands. And we're off to a run out for basically close to $1,000 pot 3 ways. Let's see what happens. Oh, is that GG? You got it? Oh.
All right. Wow. What do you think?
Yeah, dude. God damn it. I don't know why I run into quads so much. Runner quads. You guys haven't seen it because I haven't recorded some of these sessions where this has happened, but I've run into runner quads like 5 times in the last month. I mean, I just don't know. When he turns a 6, I was like, oh shit. Not good. So really sucky to lose a hand, but from an equity perspective, we looked like this, and I'm super down with how I played. All right, remember, y'all, I told y'all at the beginning of this session that this matters from a losing-winning standpoint if we're breaking the downswing or not. We rebuy for 300, and we're in the hole again. We look down at Jack 8 of spades. Under the gun opens to $15. Same guy from the pocket 10s hand, giving a ton of action. The +1 calls. I call from the cutoff, and so does the button. So 4 ways to a flop of 9 ace 6 with 1 spade. Not great, but we have a couple backdoors. And this time, the under the gun checks. So does the +1. I check, and so does the button. So a free turn card of the 9 of spades. And when it checks to me, we now have a flush draw. And am I in the mood to bluff, semi-bluff again, as I did last hand and just showed it a few hands ago? Not really, so I check, and so does the button. The river is the 2 of spades. We can't hit a front door combo draw, but we can go backdoor, runner, flush. Okay. But it checks to me again. Now, a few hands ago, I just showed a massive semi-bluff on the flop there. So I think this is a really good moment to balance it out and bet big. Under the gun is the guy I'm specifically hoping will call because he's tilting, he's giving a ton of action. And from every other person's POV, this should look really fishy, like I'm trying to buy it. So this is actually a moment where I think we should be balancing it, and I do. I bet out for $105. The button folds, and then under the gun is giving me the look. He's thinking, dude, what the hell is this? You don't have shit. And eventually he puts in the call. The +1 folds, and he sees the shit that I do have. I have a flush, and we win the pot. Let's go. We get a really big rebate right after that last hand. We then have a first on the vlog where I just straight up deleted an interesting hand, where I 3-bet king, queen, hit a king on the flop against the original raiser, got a couple streaks. So we win like another 100-something there. Then that leads us into our next hand. I then look down at pocket 5s in the small blind. I open up to 15 and get a ton of calls to a flop of king, deuce. And on boards like this, they either have a king or they don't. So I see bet for $35 and everybody folds. So we win like 3 hands in a row. The comeback train is alive. I'm on the button straddle, and that same guy that's been going kind of crazy opens to $15 with ace king here against the guy going wild. Obviously, slam dunk 3-bet. I 3-bet him to $55, kind of hoping he jams. And he does for like $200-something. Obviously, I snap call, and we're off to a run out. Oh, fuck. That's not good.
No,
That's not good.
oh. Wait.
It shows king, queen, and we win the hand. And after that, we're basically close to or above even mark. So we're headed in the right direction. Then get king, jack of spades, open it up, and lose. And then we get ace, queen against a guy that, another guy at the table who seems a bit off. Not really sure what his deal is, but he's also giving a lot of action. We flop trips and end up not getting paid when we try to bet 125 and see if we'll call light after I check the turn. Now we're into the last hand of the vlog, which is really nuts. It's one that, as it happened, I was ecstatic about how I played it. But watching the vlog back, I'm like, damn, this could have went the wrong way very easily. The hijack raises to $10, and then the cutoff 3-bets him to $20. The small blind calls, and with pocket 8s here, I'm sorry, I don't love cold calling. Yes, I do. I'm putting in the call with a pocket pair. I want to see if we hit a set. The hijack does not 4-bet. He puts in the call, so we're 4 ways to a flop. Deuce, 7, 6 with 2 clubs. It checks and flow to the cutoff, and this happens.
Oh, yeah. I didn't prove it.
Call. You got a pair?
I do.
Oh, fuck. You're ahead. I have a... It's not big.
No, you're good. No, you have a 6.
I don't.
No, I have a better, worse pair than you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
Yeah, when he told me he had a pair, I was like, oh my god, I just punted all of our profit. But no, it took him like 10 times of telling me, nah, man, you're good, for me to really comprehend that he had a small pocket pair. He ends up showing pocket threes. Really, I feel like it's been a while since I felt confident enough to just follow my read and snap call a big jam, because that did not feel like an overpair at all. And I don't think overpair should be just jamming in theory either. So really happy with how I played it. After all was said and done, if you remember, after ace 3 clubs, we had to buy back in for 300. We were in for 600, out for 976. That last table was a hell of a roller coaster ride. Really happy about that. Can I say the downswing is officially over? I would like to. So if you guys have any ideas, any criticisms, let me know. If you guys enjoyed the vlog, always appreciate y'all coming out, leaving a sub, leaving a like, really helps the channel. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time. I'm Chris, and I'm out.